Okay. So here we are. I guess I got to be spotlight. So let's be spotlight. Well, okay. One of the things I thought we might explore an energy body. You hear that term a lot. Energy body. And what does that mean? Well, one level, you have a physical body. Dimensional shift, physical body, energy body. Okay. And there are different levels of energy body. The physical body, you have a certain height, certain weight. The energy body, to some degree, is a type of it's a blueprint for your physical body. Okay. Any more? So one of the things that we just say that we have a physical body. Okay. And it's the energy body. My energy body is freer than my physical body. My physical body, moving around. Energy body, looser, freer. Okay. So what I thought we'd do is just that very first one, for example, it may change. Today, looser, freer. An energy body. And thinking about it, you start with your physical body. You can feel the carpet on my feet, feel the chair I'm sitting on. And the next level from physical body is some level of an energy body. Initially, I start to kind of begin to feel the breath a bit more. But the breath itself is less like I'm breathing in and out. It gives me a sense that there's energy circulating through this space that the physical body occupies. And part of the thing is that space that the physical body occupies, when energy is moving through it, begins to loosen up, become free. Okay? So try that just for a time or two. Starts with physical. Why? Because I start mental with it and I get ideas about it. So I start with feeling the carpet I'm sitting on. You'll be on a different surface possible. Feel the chair I'm sitting on, or I'm sitting on the floor, feel the floor. But then energy, body. And I get the feeling, for example, that there is a body, but that body is also a space. And within that space, energy moves. In a good day, the energy is flowing, free flow. There's a whole system of meridians in Chinese medicine. You've got your central meridian, you've got your governing spine, spleen, pancreas meridian, liver meridian, there's a whole bunch of them. But in general, in a healthy system, the energy moves. It's like a river, water's fresh. You dam the river, the body stops moving, it stagnates. Okay? And things build up when the body is stagnant. When the system, the river, is in motion. So the first level the body is also a space. Within that space, there's the movement ideally is flowing. In background to that, and at the level of it, there's breathing going on. It's a heartbeat going on. But there's that sense of a space. Yeah. Just to first go around on energy body. But Cliff, anything you can add to that from your viewpoint?
Just becoming aware of the room and other things happening in the room. Like my wife got back from her ballet class, so she's moving around the house. And aware of that.
Okay. Well, one thing that happens is our mind is oftentimes too busy to be conscious or aware. Kind of starting to settle into the body. Your awareness improves. Most of the time we're too busy being busy here to be aware or conscious. So one of the benefits of starting to get into the body a bit is that your awareness improves. Okay. But I'd like to shift the emphasis from I'm more aware of what's out there and what's going on in and through here. Okay? Not, one of the side benefits, you may have a problem, maybe as a writer, writer's block, and all of a sudden, bang, it clears. But chances are there's something locked here. And all of a sudden, the system opens up. The mind is affected by the state of the body. And so as the body gets more balanced with itself, you'll find things like you'll be a bit more aware or conscious. I'd like to focus on the energy body. Okay. David, anything? Anything you want to add? You don't have to. Okay. So, let's start out with the physical body. But I start to feel the space the body's in. That's a big one. The side benefits come from that, like my mind clears. My breathing deepens. You get physical sensations when you start to deal with energy. I'm starting to get the feeling that by establishing the space actually, like I feel encapsulated a bit by a round container And inside that container, the energy is vibrating. A little bit like a microwave. I'm still here, my physical body is still here, but we made a shift from physical body to space. Now the energy body is kind of like this. It's a little bit like a pine cone, except it's more translucent, transparent, and inside there's kind of this vibration going on. And there's light. It's almost like this sort of light bulb. And that's the level of energy body. Just a little bit past physical body, feeling the space of the body. Okay, just checking in a bit. Cliff, anything you want to add on that one? I don't know really right or wrong answer. Okay.
I've been just a general statement that I've been trying to apply the state of being when I start writing, right?
Okay.
Like in order to get into the zone.
Okay.
You know, I try the breathing, I try body awareness because, you know, people assume, and I think on one level it's very true, that writing is a kind of a head activity. You're in your head, except that it's done with the body.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like just reciting poetry in your mind silently, your body is part of it. You know, your fingers on the keyboard. If you're dictating, you're using your vocal cord, your larynx, and your breath. Oftentimes, when editing, I read it out loud just to hear how it sounds. And so that's a direct use of breath. So these exercises are good because they give me the practice at that. So I have no new insights in the last couple of minutes, but that's what, in general, I've been getting out of this practice as we've been doing.
Yeah, one of the things that we've mentioned is, so since it says that Misogi is cleansing the senses, and if the senses are clogged, he lists not just 5, but 6. Okay, so the 5 obvious. And what happens is this interior dialogue kind of clogs the senses in this very dense world where there's a lot of stuff happening, and much of it maybe not good. The 6th sense is mind. And the mind starts to kind of get caught up in all this. And so one of the things, for example, that happens, you may have a writer's block. So we take another tap. We establish the body. Feeling the space the body's in. For example, my cat passed away, unfortunately. Well, she was about 19, so she had a good life. But I feel the space of her still. I feel the space of her. In some cases that lasts, in some cases that kind of dissipates. So there's being, then there's a state we begin to touch on sometimes non-being. But that non-being state is very real, it's energy. And I start to establish this, there is an effect on the higher functions of mind. Like, for example, writing, it would be imagination. And all we're doing, we're going to need to get my imagination going, but I'm kind of locked in. So take an approach, work the body to energy body. Like, for example, let's kind of get into this sort of container, translucent, transparent, with all this energy kind of moving like a microwave. Am I imagining it? Or to use the term the docents likes, sense imagining. So the energy body is a good way to kind of develop this sense imagine, sense feel aspect. And as I'm there, you see I sort of imagine feeling this construct. You know, view this as being the top part of a spacesuit, so you go out to outer space. And you have to go out there and prepare something at the outer hull of your spaceship and everything like that. That's imagination. Starts it going. So starting with the body, but then again that shift, body to energy body. Okay. David, you want to add? You can add or pass, doesn't matter. Okay. Now, then you start with the body. You go, it may take you a little longer to do this than it does for me. There's the space of the body. My hand is occupied in space. You take the arm away. The space the arm was in is still there. We affect space per se by being in it. And the body may move around, but the space the body occupies as always, right there with the body. As I said, my cat crossed over, but her space is still here. Very interesting. So, segueing from there, body to space, to energy, body. I'm kind of picking up a large column. I wouldn't necessarily, and it's an impression. It's a four corners. And it extends up and it extends down. And the other one I had kind of that microwave feeling. This one kind of has streamers of different colors, kind of moving in spiral patterns. And this is kind of interesting because the upper one was kind of like something here so I can go into outer space in a spacesuit. This is kind of different. Here, I'm kind of the bottom of the ocean, very deep, cooler. And there's all of these fish that are kind of my ally friends that are swimming around inside this. So you go kind of from the upper to a more lower, deeper experiential. And I'm breathing with them. So this particular energy body space, I'm not going to drown. Now, one of the things about that is the energy body is a finer dimension of body. So Now I gotta stand up. Both the up and the down. It's almost like, those streamers of energy. They kind of lift me. And here, they set me down. Imagination. Okay, we go into what we call imagine. Still breathing. I check my physical body, it's much more relaxed. And if we go into what we call the sixth sense, which essentially calls mind, it's not so caught up in all the turmoil of the world or the negatives of my situation, which we all have these days. And it's kind of fresh in the moment in that imagined field. So. You'll find that doing several of them, you kind of get some basics. So, Cliff, anything we're playing tennis right here. So, anything on that particular one?
I'm feeling a little bit of that that gravity you were talking about in class on Wednesday.
Okay.
I guess what Nadeau Sensei calls base. I'm feeling a little bit of that now, more than I was.
Yeah, that's an important one because you can sort of get into these kind of from an upper. But for example, here, I feel those, those energy forms. They kind of wrap around my ankles, support me. And then, so that's an important one. It's an idea. I'm imagining it. And right here, it's almost like they kind of form wings in the land. So you find the energy shapes and forms. You have base in it. In fact, Nadeau Sensei would used to do a lot of sense feel. Where's your base? Now you have a physical base, but then you have an energy base. And the energy base is a finer base. Okay. So, yeah, interesting. David, can chime in or not? Okay. So let's go again. And check the time. Yeah, I still start with the physical body. Go to the space. If I start thinking about looking for the space, it's more of a field. This body occupies a space. And segue into energy body. What about here? The energy body is a space. Still breathing. Breathing is deeper. And those streamers of energy become more like you're in very, very relaxing mode. The energy is soft and it's pliable. As I'm standing, the intent to stand is supported under. I'm going to sit. I'm supported both down and suspended here. And right about here, the senses are unclogged. by being in this space, again, what clogs the senses is really all this noisy mind activity of the eye. If I check what's going on up here, it's clear. And if I kind of play the game a little bit, okay, now I've established the space, now who am I in this space? Sometimes you get an image like, I'm just getting a throne. So all of a sudden, my energy, body, is my energy kingdom. So here we get not just an energy body, an energy space. We get a title, a character, right? Simple act. It's almost like I'm sort of floating up, floating down. And even though it's a seated position, it's very alive feel. I had to move. And that's something that I'm moving, and right here, there's stillness, but it can segue into movement very easily. The movement go back to stillness. So you find certain qualities. It's not just an idea. Okay, those senses are telling us not just an idea, but it's sort of a sense field, sense imagine experience. And you see, we get, ooh, yeah. Okay, Audrey, we're working energy, body, energy, space. Okay? So a rough pattern, you start out with physical body. Feel your feet, feel if you're sitting on the floor, feel the floor. If you're in a chair, feel the chair. But your physical body is also a space. And there's of course, physiologically, there's breathing, heartbeat, blood circulating, and whatnot. But we're working in energy body, so kind of feeling kind of a glowing energy kind of circulating through the body. That's the beginnings of it. And we're going several levels of energy body. And the nice thing about it is that's different than the stuff I've been getting. So the experience is constantly renewing itself. Okay? So let's start out again. Start out with the body, the space, and a lot of times people kind of see light. In fact, if you kind of go to a lot of the Russian Orthodox churches, they have what's called icons, like paintings of saints. It's kind of this circle. This particular one, there's kind of this energy space projects the light. The light is not out there, although it does go out there, but kind of a source of it. So you are more conscious of it out there, but you're really, it's coming from inside. Also kind of conscious of various zones here, for example, like the chakra system. And, there are 3 upper chakras or 3 lower chakras, which are kind of more of an extended sense of body. And here, that light starting to kind of become more of a transparency, but still retains itself as the thing. So light is substance. And I'm going to check, boom, boom, like for example, that one. Have to, in sports, you have an explosive. And that's something that the prior levels didn't have. So you check it. Otherwise, it's an idea. Yeah. I mean, the upper awareness of it, exposure, the sense, feel, imagine, experience of it. Okay. So, Cliff, anything on that one?
Nothing new to report this time, Sensei.
Okay, yeah. Audrey, anything you want to share, or it could have came in the middle? Kind of, we're gonna change in a little bit. So. Yeah.
No, just happy to be here.
Okay, good. Okay, now the thing about the energy body is that it's always there. And a lot of times, we're in the physical body. We're moving into different dimensions of it, but we're not conscious of it. So the senses stay clogged. Okay. And these thoughts, they create a very dense reality in our own position in it, and our own situations in it. So in those sense, they said, purify the senses, 5 obvious, but then the 6th one, is translated as mind. It's probably much more than that. Mental. Mind is not mental. Mind is mind. So by working the body to energy body, you start to cleanse the mind a bit out of these limitations. So the mind can become more conscious. Higher functions of mind. First of all, imagination, which Einstein said is more important than knowledge. All new things first come through the imagination. All things keep propagating themselves until something, boom, comes through that's new. Okay. And so, started to move. Kind of just start with the body. Feel the body. Even the body, I'm starting to get what I call some energy beats. And mind right now, principally is up down. So physical body picks up the movement of energy. Cliff is bringing up what you call base. Okay. But let's moving on a little bit. Pick up the movement. Somewhere. Oh. This is kind of useful because it's basically two movements. It's two movements. So up and then down. Okay, now there's points that you starts with the palm and little finger. This diagonal here, which facilitates that. Okay. I'm going to start out with right now, you might start out in the body. Okay. Picture point face. This is a triangle. Picture your breathing. So I'm feeling the contact with the soil. Okay. Raising, and then just sort of goes up to about the third eye. And then forward. At the very end, there's a closing. Yeah, I'm cutting them just a little past level. And it's important at this level that the cut be consistent, which is why I'm cutting. The next one's a different position. Swinging a bit. The body. Body feels loose and free. Certain area on this. Body tenses up. And the world will always intrude. I should actually turn my phone off. Notice to be very conscious of the delta variant. Very important. But again, Now, energy body, energy space. Feel a zone around. It's quality, it's calm. Now, within that calm, there are beats of energy. Interesting. Calmer it is, the more smoother it goes. See if I'm too agitated. Oh. Beat of energy. Oh. Beat of energy. Oh. Beat of energy. Oh. Beat of energy. See, we get so caught up in that cut, we don't get stillness, emotion. Stillness, emotion. Okay. So we did some movement and brought in some perceptions about the energy space. Your energy body, as it starts to expand, sort of becomes an energy space. Anybody, as a movement, we do a lot, and we get too caught up and busy in the movement, but we're trying to say, okay, let's use this movement to, like for me, I'm just sitting here right now, but I'm much more conscious of the spine, the up down. I wanted to go a little bit past that. But, I haven't seen it, although I'd like to see it, is Shang-Chi. And in the comics, it was 10 rings, but now they have bracelets that call them still rings. And I'm sort of getting, I'm getting rings of energy around there. They're flashing different colors at different intervals. So you start to say, okay, it's up here. Just imagine, feel. Anybody off of just swinging the sword or bokken? Cliff, anything?
Yeah, actually, and it's unexpected.
Okay, good.
Or towards the end, as I was completing each stroke and getting it to, basically the horizontal, I felt like the energy at the moment of the completion of the arc, which would be, if I were striking something, an actual impact, it felt like hitting a still pond and the energy rippling out the way it would if a stone fell into a pond or into a den.
Okay.
And it felt kind of like I was striking a drum. So
okay.
that was different. That was new.
That's what Nido Sensei calls sense feel. It's an experience in a different dimension. Good. I think it was not this week, but last week, Yaro on the Tai Chi broadcast we do says what's wrong? I'm getting this tingling feeling in my fingers. I said, no, that's the chi starting to flow. That's good. So when you start to get those images, you see what's happening is, in your case, you're touching a level of energy, body. Now that's activating the energy mind, which a lot of times imagination is not in the words. You get images or textures. So, yes. Okay, now remember the pattern. Started body, but you can breathe and calm the body down. But take it to the energy body and go a couple of them where you get an energy space. Then we just started doing some movement. And all of a sudden, the movement, your experiential sense of both yourself and the movement changed. That's exciting. But Bonnie, anything? Not Bonnie, I'm sorry. Audrey, anything on your part?
Yeah, I tend to be too in my thought processes. So it's getting to that feel space calms my thoughts down.
Okay. Yeah, well, you are just where you are. There's a thought about something, and then there's the direct perception feel of it. Now, as you start to work, let's say the energy body to energy space, you get perceptions, okay? So one of the great gifts of Aikido is that we get to go from the kind of the docensei vocabulary, from the awareness of it to the experience of it. When you're in the experience of it, you don't lose the awareness, but you get a whole different perspective on it. Okay? Sometimes, scary things, like a big dark mass. That's scary. But from an experience, you shift position. It's talking about depth. Everything up there in the world of people with their senses clogged is a mess. It's going to be a demonstration in the Capitol again. Oh my. But the field experience is a deeper thing. You don't negate that. But also, when I'm caught up in that, my senses get more clogged. And down here, a sense of calm. And again, we're working the energy space from the energy body. The mind also is affected. So it's a little bit of kind of playing, the docent says, play the percentages. I'm going to be 82% more aware. I'm going to be then 70% more aware, but I'm increasing what's down here. This 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%. See, all of a sudden the percentages are shifting. So my perception of space is much more of a 360 hologram as opposed to a TV screen. I start to get 60, 70%. I start to get an interior alignment. Like what's going on out there was also going on inside. So it's calm there, but I'm easily drawn into that. About 50% now, all of a sudden we're going to be more 60 to 70% down here. And that's still going on. And then when I get maybe 70, 80% down here, boom, boom. That's when I'm ready to move. Okay, we're ready to do a quick cut. would be like Sada Haruo, to hit one out of the park, or Stephen Curry about to pull it from 40 feet, drill the game winner. Now, those are sports metaphors, but here the archetypes come in. And they represent, for me, a pretty major one, the archetype of the champion. Well, sensei. Champion of universal harmony and love. Pretty damn good archetype. Okay. Okay, let's. We'll go back. Again, I'm going to get busy with this. No, let's take a second or two. Notice the physical body, physical base. You need to feel rooted. Okay, which I did when I was on my first one. The feeling right here is almost like you're kelp. You're rooted, but then you're rooted in something which is pliable and move like water. So exercises like this start to come out. In other words, okay, I'm doing this out there because of the trace it back to where it came from. Okay, now we're going to go back to that was different for me. It's like instead of going up to go down, there's just the down. And the down is not down this way, it's deep. So remember, I kind of got that. The rooted feeling. Yeah. Anybody on that section of just doing the basic cut? Cliff, anything? Sometimes when you're looking for it out there, it confuses you. See, as you get a little bit more into the field experience of the energy space, what you need comes to you. So it's a reversal of, okay, I'm looking for it out there, how do I figure out it? And so, it's a little bit of a shift. Like one of the things, I still want to go see that movie, changing. And instead of making little rings like Green Lantern rings, kind of like the rings are more for the arms here. I kind of feel those rings. Boom, boom. And with those rings, you command boom, energy flows. Boom. Like that comic book was Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. It came out after Bruce Lee kind of opened up the Kung Fu movie market. So Marvel decided to start doing martial arts superheroes. So there was Shang-Chi, there was also Iron Fist. Shang-Chi was better. Okay. Boom. So instead of looking out there, it's almost like, you have these rings, and they kind of like that. Boom, they do the cut. Boom, they do the close. Boom. Right? So things like that. Most stuff. I should have been a comic book writer. I got into martial arts. I got into Aikido. Anybody with anything on that one? See, most of what Sensei stuff, if you read it, I mean, he studied, he read books and everything like that, but there's a thing where he got his place from, his stuff came into focus through the imagine, feel channel. Ultimately, the space out there would be the universe. Big, immense. On the other hand, you see, work out and create your own little mini universe. Imagine, create yourself as the center of it. There'll be movement. Kochiki, there was the universal center. Kami Musubi, Takami Musubi, centrifugal force. Fire, water, yin yang. Not gender specific, but masculine, feminine, light, dark. Start to move faster and faster. It got denser and denser. But the original consciousness of that original center is our home. So the journey from out there back to more balance in the body, back to maybe the energy body, several levels of energy body. We start to catch the energy in space. It's a larger sense of body. You go out a couple more. I don't know how many of Sensei worked, but he obviously was conversing somewhat with that model. He might have phrased it very differently. He liked to use the Kochiki. Okay. Just like you to do. Sometimes, it's we got about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm just going to do a couple of cuts. Now, perception. What do you see as opposed to somebody cutting with a sword? Just a little exercise, not just in, training perception. A cliff notice anything on that? Physical or energetic on just watching the cut?
Oh yeah. Slowly during this class, my energy level has been increasing.
Okay.
Now, way more energized than I was an hour ago.
Okay, good.
You know, I've been going through what, probably started class at about a 2x2, and I'm now like
Yeah.
a 5x5 or something. I mean, it's just bigger. Everything's bigger. The cuts are bigger. The amount of energy that's flowing. And it's
Yeah.
not like having to muscle it or work harder. It's just that it's flowing better, and it just
Yeah.
carries me along like a cork on a wave.
Well, it's not that Sensei created more energy. He just tuned into more energy. You see what I mean? I mean, he kind of insisted we could all do it, but our senses are flawed. We're in this kind of tighter space where the thoughts start to, they clog the senses. So the imagine, feel, kind of doing the energy body to energy space, and picking up maybe a basic move. Okay. Okay. You go to dojo anywhere you want, or if you got a Boken. Okay. Audrey, anything you might have picked up from watching the cut?
I think that was helpful. It helps me understand why all this politics and Texas and stuff. If I
Yeah.
practice, it goes away, but thinking about it, it doesn't go away.
Well, Leo Sensei, according to Do Sensei, he always had something with him. He would carry a book, or he would carry a fan, or he would carry, we had kind of a short prayer stick, which you could instantly convert into a spear or a staff or a Boken type motion. But he always had something tactile with him, stuff, because we all get pulled out so quick. So, for this class, we just kind of focused in the other thing that would be good to do sometimes is just kind of work some of his patterns with sound. Oh, say the whole thing right there. I start out, the sound's out there. I'm kind of self-conscious about it. So I'm beginning to start a little bit more for me. It's kind of starting around the throat. So I'd start a little deeper, more from solar plexus. Starting to start to the deeper recesses here. And I'm starting to kind of get what singers call a vibrato, but it really is about the sound establishing a space, and there's two energies in harmony in that space. So by the end of it, the whole experience is in here, although we all start out there. So we got to do a class like that, or maybe cross-reference this, some energy process work with some sound and chanting. That was a very major device for Sensei. According to Nado Sensei, if Sensei kind of felt like he was kind of on the edge, he'd go, "Eek!" Take that spear and interior spear in the voice and pierce through all that delusion. Anyway, I had a good time today. Hope you did. And Cliff, it's nice that you feel more energy now. Okay.
Yeah, it's great. I'm going to hope it goes into the rest of my day.
Yeah, okay, I hope so. And remember the pattern. You can do a lot of this on your own. Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you, Sensei.
you, Sensei. Bye, David. Thank you for running things.
Bye-bye.